Hey folks, welcome to Market Technical Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leader in pure technical analysis, avoiding all that Wall Street hype. Today, Monday, August 4th, 2008. Well, we're going to discuss the markets today across the board, and we're going to look at the various charts of the indexes and different commodities, as we saw the overall market selling off a little bit today. Just a small down day in the overall scheme of things, which was somewhat expected from Friday's video, those of you that watched it. That's what we were actually looking for prior to the Fed tomorrow, which will be the big event for tomorrow. So we're going to kind of take a look at the overall market, where it's come from, where it's at, and where it could go, and take a look and see where we could see this market possibly rallying or selling off into the next week or two. As we get into things, I just want to touch base and say it was a great webinar on Saturday. Hopefully most of you guys that couldn't make it can do our next one, which should be in about 2 to 3 weeks once our new website is up and running. Alright, we'll post that date as over the next week or two for that next webinar. Alright, let's get right into things, because I really want to delve into the markets overall today. But let's just touch on what the markets did today. Today, the Dow was down 42 points, which really is a flat day for the Dow. Those of us that have been involved with the market know that a day up or down 30, 40 points, even 50 points is nothing substantial on the Dow. The Nasdaq, on the other hand, took a little bit of a hit today, dropping about 25 points, down 1.1%, while the S&P was down about 0.9% or 11 points. Now, the overall day today was a pullback, and we're going to kind of figure out where this market is headed based on the charts, and I want to get right into it here and look at the intraday chart. Now, let me break out my trend tool so we can kind of go about the overall market using that and draw on these charts. But one thing I do want to point out here is that you had a beautiful double bottom in the markets today, and we actually talked about this in the chat room and called for it. It was a nice little scalping opportunity to the upside, and a scalp, for those of us that don't know out there, is really where you're jumping in quickly and moving out very, very quickly. You're looking for a small gain on, a nice chunk of shares or futures contracts, and it was played both ways. The ES futures could have been worked as a nice scalp there, and you can see that here. This is early in the day, right around 11:30. You got a bottom put in, then the market was able to rally off of it, come back right to this 20 moving average, and then rally up, touching the 50, make that the 200 moving average, and that's a beautiful chart. I mean, those of us that are technical guys out there, and this is why technicals rule, because you can find these points, alright, on the intraday charts. But either way, look at the nice move up. You basically took a big bar up here, rallying right into the 50 moving average above the 20. Here's the 20, here's the 50. You pulled back, sitting right on top of the 20 for quite a bit of time, rallying up and finally moving up and just kissing that 200 intraday moving average before being a sell. And again, that's really what you're just looking for. First of all, just to point this out, let's say this is your shorting opportunity here. Alright, so you guys know you get a push up to this 50 moving average, that's major resistance. You short, cover right here, right on the 20, because you know that's good support, and you're just waiting. You break up here, and you say, okay, well, let's wait. Let's see if this hits the 200. It kisses the 200 right there. That's another shorting opportunity, and the sell-off ensues to the double bottom. Notice the double bottom, and also notice how they took out the lows of the chart. And this is the thing we always teach, all right, and one of our key lessons at InTheMoneyStocks.com is that you took out the lows of the day here by a tick or two, and that's a signal always, guys. They take out stops there. Everyone sticks their stop at that double bottom or break at that double bottom. They take that double bottom out. It takes everyone's shares or contracts to the long side as they have to cover on that, or they sell out of their position, and they're giving it right to the market makers or the big players sitting right below there, and they grab all those contracts or shares, and then the bounce comes in and you get a double bottom bounce right up. So you could have gone long right there at the break as well for a quick scalp. And again, notice it's a smaller move, and that's why we called it in the chat room as a scalp. So I do encourage you all to come and join the Intraday Stock Chat. We discuss, we analyze, we do play-by-play of this market, and it's really a trader's best friend or an investor's best friend. If you're just someone that wants to learn, then it's a great atmosphere for you to be in. If you're someone that wants to trade, it's also a great atmosphere for you to be in. Far better on the technicals than anyone else out there on talking about technicals and analyzing the technicals of charts, indexes, ETFs, you name it, it's done. So in any case, a nice little chart analysis of the intraday market here. And again, just to go over things, folks, the market was very light in volume today. We saw a pullback. I'm going to go to the SPY daily chart so we can really take a look and show you what's going on. Now, going back to the calls, I can just draw them in here. This was our call right here for a top in the market. You saw the pullback, then a double top, and that was an even better pattern right there. sell-off came down here. Right here, we talked about going long in this market. You dipped a little bit lower, but you recaptured it so quickly. The time value was subsided or canceled out, but the price and pattern were still intact. You got a beautiful rally here. We said take your money off the table right there. You got a pullback. Then you got to move back up, double top. Obviously, that's a sell signal as well, and you've had a 3-bar pullback going into this Fed meeting. Now, one thing I want to draw your attention to here is the bars of volume. Look at how light they're getting, all right? Very, very small volume on this pullback. That can also be looked at as a positive signal. Now, we're going to have to analyze this market because you got a big event tomorrow, 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time. You have the Federal Reserve will release their policy statement. Frankly, they're not going to do anything. I would be shocked if they raise rates or cut rates. Now, the reason why they won't raise rates, well, because the whole reason for raising rates is to strengthen the dollar and make commodities pull back. But we've already had that. So you don't really need the raise in interest rates, especially with the financial issues going on in this market. So there's no real reason to raise it at this point. Cutting it would just weaken the dollar and send the commodities back higher. So in my opinion, they'll probably stay pat, but that's not the point here. And we'll have to look at that exactly to see what's going on. Alrighty, folks. So keep an eye on that for the Fed today, and we will take a look at that overall. Alright. Now, one other thing I want to touch on here, folks, is you got a little bit of a double top pattern forming here. You're on support here at the 20 moving average. We all know that's good support. You had a 1, 2, 3 pullback after a double top on the SPY chart. Support now it's right on support right here at the 20 moving average. Secondary support would be right here at the lows from these couple days right here before we reverse back to that double top. And third support area would be at the lows here on the chart. Okay? Now, the key here is, folks, is that we're going to have to pay very close attention to this if we were to come down, break this line, and double bottom. Now, we happen to believe that there may be a little more downside in this market, but we could easily rally on the Fed tomorrow. Would not shock us one bit because of a 3-bar pullback for a possible rally off this support on the Fed, but it really could go either way. I mean, it's tough to, it's one of those things where you're basically taking the analysis of psychology of this market and basically chart patterns and time values and trying to fit them all together with the Fed announcement. And there are some signals that are telling us that there's a possible rally on the horizon midweek or so, which could be starting tomorrow afternoon. Obviously, Tuesday afternoon is close to midweek of Wednesday. But we're not getting clear enough signals yet to say it's a high enough percentage, and that's why we're being very cautious here. So, obviously, as I mentioned, we are getting signals, but they're not at the point where we always talk about 85 to 90% success rate for any call. And you guys can see the calls. Here you take a short here, you get a double top, but look at this move down, you get on the short side. Here you take the long, you get a little bit lower, but obviously you recapture it to the long side, short, and so forth. So you can see the track record obviously is very, very accurate here. And we're the same ones that were calling the USO for a short at 145 to 147 and double topping there. Nonetheless, look at this pullback, guys. I mean, it is unbelievable, the pullback. You had a little bit of a bounce come in, which we had talked about, and then today, again, oil gets slammed. And we're looking at the USO chart, which is the oil fund today. Big drop in the USO, down 3.4 points, and that's just unbelievable. I mean, you have now commodities getting thrown out like trash, like common garbage. Coal stocks, alternate energy stocks, you name it, no one wants to be involved. And there's some talk today that hedge funds that are dealing specifically in commodities are going bust because of the steep, insane decline here in commodity prices. Now, obviously, we were talking here when we were up here. I was actually mentioning, and this is I didn't want to tie it to the company because obviously it's a big call. But I even said that I thought by the time you get the November elections in, oil will be below 100. And that was when we were at 145 to 147, and everyone was calling for 150 oil. So right now we're actually making our way there. To be in all fairness, we're right around that 120 mark on oil, which is very significant. Okay, now. Just another $20 drop, and we're right there. And my call was through November. Now, it was a long shot then. It looks a lot more likely now, but it's still a long ways to go. So we will continue to follow the commodity prices. Right now, you have the USO sitting on support. This is right here, and let me erase these lines here so we can see it a little more on the clear side. And right here from last Wednesday or so, let's see, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Wednesday lows were tested today, and you got to bounce back up. So that is support right here. Now, if that breaks, then we're talking about probably a move to this gap fill right around here, which on the USO is 94-ish, 95-ish, give or take, 94.50 to 95 support of a gap fill, and you can see the gap going all the way back here. If that breaks, well, the next ultimate stop would be right around this support area, give or take, somewhere in this realm, right between the highs, the high of that close and the low of the day on this day, right in this range right here where my cursor is here. Alright, so keep an eye on that, guys. On the commodities, commodities right now are a big driver in this market. The market was under pressure today, but again, light volume is the key here to note on this pullback, and we'll see, do we hold the 20? Do we break back? And I want to show that one more chart. So right now, support, next area of support would be here if we sell off tomorrow or the next day, and then look for a possible bounce back up. We are seeing some indicators saying that we may see a little bit of a bounce or rally on the Fed, or right after the Fed, maybe on Wednesday or Thursday, but it's not high enough percentage right now to give a signal either way. So watch and be careful. Come join the Intraday Stock Chat. It is awesome. Join the Swing Trade Alerts for premium trades, and we will talk to you soon. Take care.